we went out the road hard in the first couple months of the year because we knew we had a lot of amazing, finished the year well, had a lot of great news, and then we knew we started the year with great news. I mean, it's just a great discovery, really, and people haven't given it it's just a reward.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Terry Lynch. She is the CEO of Power Nickel. And Terry, it's good to see you again. How are you?
Steve, I'm great. Great to see you as always.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of things going on with the company. You're a very busy man right now. And so we want to cover off a number of different things. First off, Terry, I want to ask you about, you've announced a name change, going to Power Metallic Mines, Inc. So tell me a little bit about the reason for the change.
Yeah, I mean, basically, fundamentally because the nature of the deposit is changed. It's more from like a nickel play to polymetallic play, which is probably at this point more copper and PGMs than nickel. We think in the eventual sort of as it exploration is completely done, we'll end up probably being a third copper, a third noble metals, PGEs, and gold and silver, and a third nickel. So it made sense, given the shift to the polymetallic exploration, to maybe have a shift to the name. And then the backdrop of that is nickel's been sort of a four-letter word, I guess, on the investment side of things. We think North American nickel is sort of a different animal, and there's reasons to be very optimistic about it. But nonetheless, we think a name change better suits what the company's all about for the future, and certainly will be probably more favorably received in retail for sure.
Yeah, and you also are getting to a point now where, as you mentioned, you're drilling like crazy, and there's lots of things going on, lots of results coming left and right, and on the heels of that, you have also done a pretty large raise, $50 million. In fact, you've upsized it as well because you've had so much demand for it. Terry, tell me about what you're seeing and just the excitement around this.
Yeah, we went out the road hard in the first couple months of the year because we knew we had a lot of amazing, finished the year well, had a lot of great news, and then we knew we started the year with great news. I mean, it's just a great discovery, really, and people haven't given it it's just a reward at this point. And so we went out, explaining to the international community that what we had, and I think we did a better job of translating it, by comparing ourselves to some of the copper discoveries that are out there, like Foran and Firefly and Fireweed and stuff like that, and even Adriatic, although it's not a copper, but very similar in value of the rock in the ground. And I think people could see, wow, you guys have moved the thing a long ways, and you're very cheap relative to those peers. And so I think that's why we had such an overwhelming interest in the placement, was they could see this thing probably a double or triple from here, and with what we've already found. So why wouldn't we buy it? So that's sort of where it came from, we think, and so good on them. We of course, you're always trying to push the envelope and get a higher price for your shareholders, but at some point, we needed the institutional support. We'd been a family office and ultra high net worth sort of finance company to this point, but to make it to the promised land here, to really find out how big NIS can be, we needed to get institutions involved, and we've got them involved in a big way now. So it was I think a fair financing for all sides, and we're looking forward to having them in the house.
Yeah, and a lot of you mentioned the strategic investors that you have now with those houses. That's an important part of this, and really elevates the sort of the view and level of the company too.
Yeah, of course, BMO, this is our first brokered financing. So we pretty much went to the top and got BMO and Hannam out of the UK. And then we had Red Cloud, Taylor Collison from Australia, and Roth from the US. So it was really a great dynamite team that did a whale of a job for us, and people we can grow with. So yeah, we're very happy with the people. And of course, our loyal shareholders came through again. Robert Friedland and Rob McEwen were there writing sizable checks again, and we got to love those guys. They're industry gods, really.
Yeah.
To have their support means a ton.
Well, Terry, I also want to ask you about one last thing, and that is, it's always good to be number one. And you are the number one mining company on the TSX Venture Top 50, which is, I would think, a very exciting position to be in for this particular list that looks at basically success.
Yeah, we were obviously thrilled to hear about it, and thrilled to be part of the Venture 50, and it's obviously a elite club, and to be the number one mining firm was a special honor, and we certainly appreciate it. It's great, endorsement, a great pat in the back for the team who've done such yeoman's work, and it's a great sort of pat in the back for the shareholders who have supported us all the way and deserve everything they've got and what more is coming. I think, as a group, we feel like as exciting as 2024 was, we've been quoted, and we believe that 2025 is going to be better. So it's just we think this discovery is special. It's going to become world class, and the best is yet in front of us. So it's exciting, exciting to be there for 2024. We hope to be there in 2025, and let's get to the top or even beyond.
All right, there you go. Terry, thanks so much. I know we're going to be talking a lot in 2025 because you're very busy with the company and the work that's going on at NISC as well. So we look forward to our next conversation, okay?
Sounds good, Steve. Have a great day. Cheers for now.
All right, you as well. Terry Lynch, the CEO of Power Nickel.